Welcome class of 21-22 to the course Environmental Economics offered by the University of Amsterdam. I am your course coordinator, Yurisol. As compared to last year, I have changed over half of the reading list. This is in part because in the tutorials we discuss recent working papers, and in part thanks to the suggestions of new colleagues. My revision of these lectures has benefited greatly from discussion with my co-coordinator of an environmental economics course for the future Planet Studies program, Dr. Micha Veldhuis. In addition, the past months I've been working on a new sustainability track for a Principles of Economics and Business course. Your reading list has benefited from the suggestions by my co-coordinator, Dr. Sara Signorelli. For example, she pointed me at the Chancel and Piketty paper that we will talk about today. Before we start today's lecture, let me briefly introduce myself. I did my PhD on social interactions on the work floor at the Erasmus University Rotterdam, after which I moved to the University of Amsterdam some 10 years ago. Here I have coordinated a minor on entrepreneurship for the first couple of years and started this environmental economics course shortly after I obtained tenure. I am Dutch, raised in Zoetermeer, married with a Mexican, but currently long distance due to our unwelcoming and lengthy visa procedures. When I'm not working, I like to do gardening when I'm in Mexico and cycling in nature when I'm in the Netherlands. During this course, we will come to talk about public goods next week. Our discussion on climate policy will focus on carbon pricing. After a midterm break, we continue with themes that draw more heavily from ecological economics literature. This year, we end with a set of readings and a documentary on environmental change and mental health. Today's lecture is on scarcity and planetary boundaries, where I will discuss the first two listed required readings and leave my recent publication in ecological economics for discussion during the tutorials. A useful starting point for a talk on scarcity is to recognize that there are different schools of thought within economics. Environmental economics is neoclassical economics applied to environmental topics. Some of the early neoclassical economics literature also goes by the name of natural resource economics. Environmental economics treats natural capital as one input factor into production and stresses the importance of relative scarcity. Once specific materials, like indium, become scarcer, many neoclassical economists argue its price will increase, which will create incentives for more efficient use or substitution for other materials. Neoclassical models often assume that natural capital can be substituted for by man-made capital. For example, would pollinators become more scarce, we may be able to replace these ecosystem services by drone-delivered soap bubbles. The models developed by neoclassical economists have produced several insights that we will discuss during this course. Yet the focus on relative scarcity also led many economists to believe that we can grow our economies indefinitely. This view is very much contested by ecological economists that emphasize that the economy is a subsystem of our global ecosystem and recognizes the absolute scarcity of the environment to serve as a resource pool and pollution sink. Even though this course is entitled Environmental Economics, as mentioned, we will go into ecological economics as well.